It's a unique story of a young medical student who discovers a way to bring the dead back to life. Well, doing so has some crazy consequences.
That's right. Re-Animator, the musical, is brought to life by an amazing cast featuring actor George Wendt. And our two guests here with us today, Graham Skipper, he plays Dr. Herbert West, as well as Jesse Merlin, who plays Dr. Carl Hill. Welcome to the both of you. Great having you.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Delighted to be here.
Graham, let's talk about this. You play Dr. Herbert he's the creator of this reanimation serum.
Yes.
Well, tell us about your role and what this serum's all about.
Well, Herbert West is a very driven medical student. He has discovered the secret to bringing the dead back to life via this glowing green serum. But unfortunately, he hasn't quite perfected it yet, so sometimes the test subjects come back extra violent. But, you know, it's just a matter of experimentation and making sure that you eventually get it right.
This is science.
And
right, it's science.
Your colleague, Jesse here, you played Doctor also. Are you jealous of him and you're trying to steal things? What's going on?
Just a little bit. He's a med student. He's not a doctor yet. I play the brilliant neurosurgeon who is a little bit of a hotshot at the university, and he doesn't like this kid who comes in and stirs up trouble. But I have a wonderful arc. Basically, he severs my head with a shovel when I come to steal his serum, and then brings me back to life. And then I'm a two-parter. I'm a team, so I'm carrying my severed head around while singing, which is kind of a feat of puppetry, if you can imagine it. But what's so great about Dr. Hill is that he's got the power of reanimation. He's got his little zombie army. The world is for the taking, but he's going to get the co-ed on the cold slab in the morgue first. So he's got an interesting sense of priorities. He's all about himself.
This seems a little dark, and I probably wouldn't go shovel for the
Well, you gotta improvise, you know. It's in a basement. You gotta.
You grab for the first thing you see. Yeah. Okay, understood.
And this combines a little horror, some music, a bloody good time.
Oh yeah, it's horror, it's comedy, it's a good story. I mean, there's a love story and obviously with all of the singing, when you have singing severed heads, I mean, how could you not smile?
How many rows back does blood get splattered?
It's kind of like Shamu. It's like a splash zone.
There's a splash zone. The first 3 rows are the splash zone. Those are the plastic chairs. We give you ponchos, but I'll tell you, people don't always take the ponchos. I mean, just last night we had two people.
A couple in the wedding outfits, all
white. All white
really?
Wedding outfits, just sitting front and center. People come in costume.
What's
it's
delightful,
really fun.
we've had kids who just love it, like 8 and 9-year-olds, and we usually say 12 and above. They just sit there with smiles on their faces. I bring a brain. I carve open a corpse in an autopsy class, and I bring it into the front row and pass it along, and the kids couldn't be more delighted.
Wow.
But and it's really delightful. The first creature he brings back to life is a cat. So we've got a singing and dancing zombie cat on stage, both a puppet and then a human-sized one. I mean, it's wild.
Did you guys see the movie before you auditioned, and so you were very familiar with the storyline?
Oh yeah. Well, I've been a horror fan my whole life, and so I grew up watching this movie, and so getting the opportunity, because Stuart Gordon is it's the same writer-director as the film.
Of the musical.
As
the
musical.
Team, which is amazing.
No kidding.
The whole
all
same
practical
effects
effects, just like they did in the film.
So it's been such a dream to get to work on this. I mean, it's so much fun, and obviously, who better to helm this beast than the original director. It's
a special week too. I think it's either tonight or tomorrow. We have a special relationship. 200 decapitations. He's severed my head 200 times on stage. In LA and New York and Edinburgh and now here in Las Vegas.
What a
treat.
be
happier to be here.
Do you take the show on the road after this, or what happens?
We have after this. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen. I know that we're here trying to introduce it to Vegas because we think this will be a great home for it.
You've gotten rave reviews, and some of our staff have seen it, and they love it.
Yeah, it's really just so much fun to perform, and so great to look out and see all these soaking wet, bloody people clapping. It's
My question is, when those people leave the theater, people think that they have been murdering people.
Well, that's what's so funny.
An issue.
Well, I remember George Wendt at one point, who plays Dean Halsey in the show. He was telling me, he said, "Yeah, I went to an In-N-Out burger one night after the show, and he said I'm like paying, and my hands are covered in blood, and I'm going, on the tabloids the next day. So, George Wendt covered in blood."
Speaking of George, obviously from Norm on Cheers, how is it to work with such an iconic figure?
He's amazing. I mean, he's so giving on stage and such a wonderful guy, and definitely one of the highlights of my career.
He was my co-host on Valley View Live. We had a great time with him. It was so much fun.
He's so great, yeah.
And you guys are playing through Sunday?
through
so
Sunday.
we have to go and see you before then.
Please.
There's
Yes.
still time to get tickets.
Yes.
Yes, still time to get tickets. Yeah, we play 8 o'clock every night, plus 2:30 matinees on Saturday and Sunday.
Awesome.
George is the funniest zombie you can imagine. I think he has more fun once he's both a zombie and lobotomized because he doesn't have any more lines and he's just cutting up on stage.
I wish I was lobotomized. Make this show a lot easier. Guys, it's a pleasure. Congratulations on everything.
I think they could take care of that for you.
There we go.
Thank
Let's do
you,
it.
guys.
Thank you so
Tickets
much.
for Re-Animator the musical start at just $44, but if you use the code UNDEAD, you'll get $10 off your ticket.
Catch Re-Animator the musical at the Smith Center through Sunday inside the Troche Studio Theater. For tickets and more information, call the number on your screen or go to thesmithcenter.com.